Good evening, everyone. Am I audible to you all?
Good evening, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, so any doubts from the last class? You can just write it on the in the chat box. Okay. So last class I was discussing about this keyword, right? Can anybody recall what we have discussed about this keyword? Okay, any idea about this keyword? To specify current object. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that is right. Whenever we use this keyword inside any object, it refers to that particular object, right? So just I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know if it is visible to you all. Is it visible? Okay. So as you all can see over here, sometimes we need to create many objects of the same type. To create an object type, we use an object constructor function. We have a person object yesterday that we have already seen, in which they have these. Uh, okay, here it is a function in which they have four parameters, which is first, last, age, and I. When we are using this keyword inside this function, so what that will access, it will actually access for this person object, person function over here. Like it what first of all, it has tried to access these four parameters, right? Then it is specifying the values of these particular parameters. So how it has accessed these particular parameters? It is through this keyword, right? So whatever, so what this keyword does for us, it basically points to whatever function, an object, or any particular entity that calls his or it, right? So since here this person function was being called, that is why this keyword is pointing to this person function. If any object has called this keyword, any entity using this keyword, then that particular entity will be pointing to that particular object. So whoever will call, he will it will point to that particular entity. Is it clear what this keyword does? For
Yes, ma'am.
example, right. For example, if I'm calling Kritika, so obviously Kritika will respond to me. And if I'm calling Akriti, so Akriti will be responding to me. It is same as that only. Whenever this will be used with with any entity inside any function, so that function will be pointed by this keyword. And if any object is being, if any object is called using this keyword, so it will be pointing to that particular object. So that is how this helps us. We do not have to write the name of the function or name of the object multiple times. Directly, we can use it the this keyword. So let's see what this note says. In the constructor function, this has no value. The value of this will become the new object when a new object is created, right? So whenever any new object will be created, it will point to that particular object. So let's summarize it. Objects are containers of properties and methods. As we have seen, by properties and methods, we are defining as, since we have created this object over here, person. So these are the entities, like properties of this particular object. What do you mean by properties? For example, if you like, we have created a car object. Yes. Since we have created this car object, and these were the properties of this car. Its type, model, color. Basically, properties define what is car and how it is being looking. So it is similar meaning that properties are whatever attributes, whatever key value pairs that we create are called as the properties for the object. Whereas methods are the functions. For example, any doubts?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can ask. Just a minute. Now you may ask your doubts. Use this keyword in setter method. Yes, that's correct. Any function that we create inside an object is known as method. Yes, that is what I was telling you. Whenever we create any function inside the object, that function is known as object. Sorry, method inside the object. So these are few OOPS concept that you must have read and studied in your college in your semester for your semester exams, which is also very important for your interviews. Key plus value is equal to property. Yes. So both of the definitions are right for the property and methods. Properties are whatever key value pairs that we define, and methods are the functions that we define inside the object. For example, if I am creating any function over here for the car, that car is moving, so that will be a method for the inside the car object. So that is what properties and methods are inside the objects. It are these are the containers for the properties and methods. Properties are named values and methods are the functions stored as properties. Properties can be primitive values, functions, or even other objects, and constructors are object prototypes. So in JavaScript, objects are defined as king. And why is that so? Because all the different entities, all the different data structures or functions are objects only. Even objects are objects, method, maths, function, or dates, arrays, maps, sets. These are the data structures. Even these data structures are also called as objects in the JavaScript. That is why it is said objects are kings in the JavaScript language. What are JavaScript primitives? A primitive data type is the type that can only store a single primitive value. These are just like the data types that you define in any other language, like string, number, boolean, big int, null, and defined symbols. So these are the those types, data types that will be storing a few single values only. So that is what JavaScript primitives were and the objects. I hope you all are clear with the this keyword and why objects are very important. What are the properties and methods inside the objects? Okay, so let's move on to the uh, JS events. So any idea about what are events? How they help us whenever we create websites?
Then events are some function which got triggered when user attempt to do something on web page.
Yes, that's correct. Events are actions taken by the user. Yes, yes, it is correct. That events are those functions that are being triggered whenever a user performs any action. That can be a mouse click, a keyboard click, or any double click that performed by the user. And there are multiple such user events, right? So let's see about that. So HTML events are things that happen to HTML elements. Whenever JavaScript is used in HTML pages, JavaScript can react on these events. What are these HTML events? Events can be something the browser does or something a user does. Here are a few examples which says an HTML web page has finished loading, an input field was changed or the button was clicked. A very basic example is button was clicked. Like you must have seen, for example, if I'm clicking on this For example, if I'm clicking on this cross button, so the event or the function that will be triggered over here is that this will be removed. So these are the different events that occur on the page. These events can either be by the user or even also by the browser. For example, if any loading of the page has been finished, so that particular page has to be rendered also. So that can also be a event. If you have created a very unique loading page that the person is moving from this corner of the web page to this corner of the web page, and you are showing this as loading. So when that particular object will reach from the left corner to the right corner, the loading will be completed and the new web page will be rendered. So these are all the different events that occur and create a functionality on our web page. Often, what when events happen, you may want to do something, and HTML allows event handler attributes with JavaScript code to be added to HTML elements. Let's see how they will be added. They will be added by providing these different functions over here. For example, over here they have provided this on-click function. So whenever this button will be clicked, what will happen? It will print the time. Let's see. So it is printing it the current time for me. The time is right. So this is the event that has been triggered. The event was this particular button, and when it was clicked, the new as you can see that the new timing is being updated. So that is how events help us within our web page. In this example, the JavaScript code changes the content of the element with ID is equal to demo. And in the next example, the code changes the content of its own element. So whenever we are trying to click on this button again and again, it is just refreshing the time over here. Then there is this another example. Click the button to display the date. A similar example that will also render the time for us. So they have given few more HTML common HTML events. For example, on change. So whenever any element HTML element will be changed, so it will trigger on change event. Whenever any button will be clicked, so we can use this on click function. On mouse over, mouse over means whenever we rub our mouse and the cursor moves or do some movement, so that is mouse over. And on mouse out, the user moves the mouse away from an HTML element, right? So on key down, so if any key has been pressed by the keyboard, so that will trigger this on key down function. And on load, whenever the page will be refreshed or the loading will be completed, it will trigger this on load function. So these are just basic events that they have listed over here. Very common examples that you must have used also in case you have created any JavaScript functions or any projects. So these are just basic events over here. What are the JavaScript event handlers? Event handlers can be used to handle and verify user input, user actions, and browser actions, and things that should be done every time a page loads. So they are just giving you an examples how the event handlers work and when these event handlers will actually work for you. What will be the different functionalities and what will be the different situations on which these event handlers will work over here. So is it clear till here? What are the events and how they're uh, giving you some functionalities and control over your web pages? Events are actions or occurrences that happen in the browser, often as a result of user interactions or other person. Yes, that is a very clear definition of events happen when the user interacts with a web page, like on click, submit, and on screen. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so just give the answer to this question. What is the correct HTML event attribute to execute something when a user clicks on an element? And what is the use of mouse over? Yes, you all are right. On click will be the answer. What will be the use of mouse on mouse over function or event?
And mouse over is like a hover trigger, like a hover trigger. It will trigger when the mouse is over an element.
Yes, that's correct. Mouse comes over an element. And what about on mouse out?
When mouse pointer goes out of an element.
Yes, goes away from the element. That's correct. Execution of a JavaScript function or code logs when a user hovers their mouse over an element, enabling dynamic and interactive web page behavior. Right. When we hover over a specific element. Yes. Yes, you all are correct. So the answer was on click. Next, we have JS strings. So this is just giving you an example and how you can use JavaScript strings. They are very similar to other programming languages. Like strings are the for storing text with quotes. By quotes, they mean the double quotes, or you can also use single quotes over here, right? So this is just the representation of strings. Then we can also use quotes inside quotes. What does that mean? So whenever this particular quote starts, it will see for the last next particular quote, and then the compiler will know that the string has been ended, right? Then they have given this function. We have this text like dot length property, which will find the length of the string. Then we also have escape characters. Do know about this escape property. That is a very important topic for the interviewers. Over here, it is saying let text is equal to, then we are the solid Vikings from the north. As you all can see that it is not green in color, that means it is taking it that it will generate an error. Why is that so? Because over here, outside also this double quotes was used and inside also this double quotes were used. For this particular problem, we use these backslash escape characters, and whenever this uh, both the double quotes will be replaced by this particular slash and double quotes, then it won't be giving any errors. And then the compiler will know that this is the part of the string that we have specified inside the outer double quotes, right? So make sure that you know about the escape characters because strings must be written within quotes. Just JavaScript will misunderstand the string and the string will be chopped to via the so-called. So what will that be printing? If you try to print this text, it will only print till we are the so-called, right? To solve this problem, we can use a backslash escape character, and they have given the examples of few backslash escape characters for using this single quotes, double quotes, and the backslash. Even the backslash will be used with another backslash. Don't confuse it with the comments that we use, but it will be a backslash over here. We are the so-called Vikings from the north. Let's use any backslash. Let's see what that will print. It will print the single backslash, and it is not the comments, right? So that were the escape characters for you. Next, they have given few examples also for the different escape characters. A few other escape sequences are for the backspace, form feed, new line, carriage return, horizontal tabulator, and vertical tabulator. So the six escape characters above were originally designed to control typewriters. So these were few for the uh, earlier use that were used very earlier. Okay, so that is telling you how you can write multiple lines of strings. So that will be done using this particular addition operator, which is a concatenation operator. So you can write multiple lines of code, multiple lines of strings, and that will be taken as the one single string, like hello, and only they have specified this addition over here, and they have just written dolly over here, and that was taken as the whole string. If we try to, that is just the basic concatenation, nothing else. If we try to add something, right, so it is working fine. What we have done, we have just added another string. Basically, what is happening over here, as you all can see, it is just concatenating different strings. If we shifted it to single line, you can see that we are just concatenating different strings. Hello, how are you? It was the first string. Then we have this dolly over here and the tutorial. And when I will try to run this, it will just print the string for me. So first of all, hello, how are you? String was printed. Then the dolly was concatenated. And then after that, tutorial was concatenated. So it is just a way of writing multiple strings uh, together, just by adding this concatenation operator over here, because this addition is whenever we use it with strings, it is called as concatenation operator. Again, they have given another way of writing multiple strings. It is just a single string, but in multiple lines. That is by using single quotes or even the double quotes. If let's try to use, so these are backslashes, not the single quotes. Yes. So these backslashes help. It is uh, a symbol that is just above your tab keyword in your tab key from your keyboard. Not, so it is not a single quotes, neither are double quotes, but a tab over here. So that hyphen over here is this symbol that is just above the tab key from your keyboard. And over here we can also create expression directly. Let's see what that will print. See, I have not used any variables over here. I have just used this dollar sign with these curly braces, and it has given me the result 7. So we can also use uh, these backslashes over here that will help us directly computing few operations. Is it clear till here? Tactic to create a string with variables. Yes. Yes, that's correct. Any doubts still here? Okay. So they are just giving you and how you can just use this equal to operator to see whether your strings are equal or not. And when using this three equal to operator, x and y are not equal. Why is that so? Because over here, since they have used this new keyword, that is why it will be uh, taken as an object. And whenever we have just specified this is equal to and the string, it will be taken as string. And that is why if we are using this triple is equal to, it will give us false result because the object types are not equal. And in case we are using double equal to, it will return us true because that only compares the values and not the data type for us. Give me the answer for this exercise. Which one of the following is not a legal JavaScript string?
Ma'am, the second one.
Yes.
The second one.
Hello world. Moving to JS numbers, let's see what they told us. Just a quick recap of what are numbers, JS numbers. So first of all, they have given the number with decimals and below one is the decimal number without decimals. So these are taken as integers and these are called as floats in the programming language. And we have exponents also in the JavaScript, which will use e. So basically what this means as 1, 2, 3 and to the power 10 to the power 5 and over here 1 2 3 10 to the power minus 5. So basically it is just the shifting of a decimal or the adding of 0 over here, right? So next, JavaScript numbers are always 64-bit floating point. Unlike many other programming languages, JS does not define different types of numbers like integers, short, long, floating point, etc. They are always stored as double precision floating point numbers. So just make sure, and that is a very small thing, but can be asked in your interviews that JavaScript is not like other programming languages that will be giving you few integers and floats like types, but to store your data, but it will be only storing all data in the double precision floating point numbers, right? Which will be the international IEEE 754 standard. So it will be a 64-bit floating point numbers that will be storing all your results in the JavaScript. Even the integer precision, as you can see, it will be printed as follows. So why it will be accurate up to 15 digits. Okay. So these were the numbers for in the JavaScript. So over here they are calculating the addition, and over here they are trying to concatenate these two strings. Here, can anybody tell me what will be the answer of this particular code?
1020.
Yes, that's correct. It will be the answer 1020. Why is that so?
Because ma'am,
Because both
it will
are
concatenate
strings
those strings.
Raise your
and they
hand
are
and then
placed
speak.
by.
Yes, Arijit.
Because ma'am, it will concatenate those two strings into the Z variable.
Yes, that's correct. And what about the output of this expression? Yes, that's correct. It will be 1029. Because over here also they will be it will be concatenated 10 and then 29 will be concatenated. Yes. Let's move on to JS arrays. So arrays are simple entities that will be storing multiple values. So an array is an object type designed for storing data collections. What are the key characteristics of JavaScript arrays? An array is a list of values known as elements. Array elements are ordered based on their index. The first element is at index 0 and the second at index 1. So its indexing starts from 0, and it will also be ordered in whatever index you have specified there. Arrays can grow or shrink as elements are added or removed. So these are dynamic. So dynamic basically means that it is not fixed. The size won't be fixed, and it can be added, and it will be the indexing will be removed if we don't need that. And what do we mean by heterogeneous? Arrays can store elements of different data types, numbers, strings, objects, and other arrays as well. So it is just like other programming languages. Arrays will be storing every kind of type. Whatever, even if we are storing the strings, or the nested arrays also is possible. Objects can also be stored inside the arrays, and numbers can also be stored inside the arrays. So why do we have to use the arrays? If we have a number of list items, so we can just put all those items inside one single entity, and we can access all the elements from that particular entity that will be an array by using its indexes. So this is the basic use of why we will be using arrays. Can anybody tell me what would be the difference between the arrays and objects? Yes, Adijit?
Ma'am, objects come with comes in a key and value pair, while arrays don't have any key value pair. They use indexing for finding the value.
Yes, that's correct. And which one should we use, objects or the arrays?
And we can use both of them for our objects for key value pair values, and we can store them inside an array, multiple objects together.
Yes, that you are right. But I think arrays should be preferred more because you can use indexing and you can directly access your elements if you know the index, or you can traverse your array. But for the objects, you have to know what is the basic template and what are the different properties or methods that you have defined inside that object, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And no, Rahul, arrays don't store only similar type of data type. They can store multiple types of data. You can store arrays, uh, you can store numbers, strings, or even the smaller arrays inside the bigger array. That will be nested array for you. File object can use for the list with properties. Yes. Whenever we have to define few templates inside our uh, code. Like we want to specify a car and for example, a database that has to be defined in which we will be creating few attributes. Then we can use objects over arrays. But whenever we want to have multiple elements that are of uh, that we have to just store so that we can access it later, and they don't have to be in any format. So then we can use arrays over here. An object stored key value base. Yes, that's correct. What do you all mean by similar data type? I think you must be seeing similar kind of data. Is it so, Akriti? And even Rahul has told us. Of course, we will be able to perform insert and delete operations. Okay, okay. If you were talking about seed, it is the difference. If you are saying similar kind of data, that means if you are storing fruits name, for example, so you will be storing all the fruits name in the single array. But if you are seeing the same data type, that is coming as that you want to specify if only the numbers inside the array or only the strings inside the array, and that is not correct. So that is why I have just asked what you mean by array source in the data type. Okay, so that can also be true, Arijit. You are right. Over here, just make sure that you understand that JavaScript stores every kind of data type inside those arrays. That will be storing all your data types. It can be store the numbers or the strings, objects or the arrays. And one control over arrays is that they can be directly accessed using strings. But in case of objects, we must know what are the attributes or methods that we have defined earlier. For example, we can take the example like if you have read C programming, right? So you use stdio.h. You must know that inside that header file stdio.h, we have scanf and printf function. If in case you don't know that the printf and scanf function exist in that header file, you won't be able to use that, right? So that is what object does for you. Object is like you must know whatever methods and properties you have defined inside them, and then only you can use it later. Am I clear to you all? Okay. So they have given the uh, syntax for creating an array over here, which is by providing the const and the name of the array and whatever items that we want to specify inside the array. We can also use indexing method to specify the arrays. And in case we can also create a single empty array, and then we can provide the values later in our code. They must have given the example for that also. Access the full array that can be done using using the name of the array. Okay, so usually we do that in that way only. We just create an empty array and then after that we provide the values for our array. So that is a easier way. So they are telling us array elements can be objects, as we have already seen that in JavaScript, every entity, every data structure is an object only. So array elements are also considered as object. So they have few properties and methods like in strings also we have the length property. Dot length will be telling us the length of the array. By length of the array, they will mean whatever indexing up to, if in case you have indexing till 5. So what will be the length of the array? If in case you have an indexing from till the 5, like n is equal to 5. So what will be the, is my voice not clear? Okay. Yes, you all are correct. Indexing till 4 if there are 5. Yes. So whatever, if the indexing it will be till 5, so the length will be 6. Why is that so? Because we start, JavaScript starts indexing from 0 over here. Any programming language, Archana, why will it be 0? Okay, the indexing starts with 0. Yes, that's correct. Any programming language you all know that starts indexing from 1? Yes, you all are right. SQL and Erlang are the languages. Even the R language, which is very used right now, also it starts indexing from 1. And some Erlang, Fortran. Yes, few older languages like Fortran and COBOL were the languages that were using indexing from 1. What? Okay. So we have the length property and sort. Even the sort can be used directly. So JavaScript provides you with the sort function also that will directly sort your arrays. So they have just given you how we can use the looping inside your array. So whenever we want to traverse our array, we have to access all the indexes of our array. So we use the looping method. I hope you all know the looping method. What does this looping means? Is SQL a programming language? Yes, Rahul, SQL is a programming language. Whenever you use MySQL, so that is a tool in where a platform where you use SQL language to write your queries. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a programming language. Yes, for each can be used. What are the different types of loops the programming language provides us? Yes, that's correct. For do and do while. For while and do while. Yes. How is while and do while different from each other? Yes, yes, that is correct. Yes, yes. And how is for each different from other loops? Does it have any advantage? Element of an array. Yes. Can give us out of this kind of time. Yes. So basically, for each loops are almost always used to iterate over um, items in a sequence of elements. Traversing every element easy in an array. Yes. So they will be traversing in a sequence and in a defined order over the elements, whatever that have been specified in the arrays. Is my voice not clear? Okay. So over here they have used for each loop. Let's see what that will print. So first of all, they have specified this fruits array, the different kinds of fruits. Next, they have given the text. For that, over here, they will be accessing all the elements of the array over here. And then they have used fruits dot for each loop and my function has been called. So this for each loop will be traversing all the elements of this array and they will be printed over here. How that will be printed using this function my function. So that what it will take, first of all, it will take this li So that will create a list, and then the value will be added, and the list will be this unordered list will be uh, closed. The element will be closed, and that will be printing all the different kinds of fruits that were specified in the fruits array. So how we can add the array elements? We can directly use dot push function, and we can add a new array, a new value inside the array. So whenever we are calling this my function, so first of all, it will create this lemon. Yes, any doubts? Okay. So whenever this particular button will be called, like get element by ID, and the lemon will be added to this array. If in case we try this over this button, see they have used this on click event. So whenever I will click on this particular button, what is happening? This lemon is at push. So first of all, I have this web page. Whenever I will click on this particular button, this on click function will trigger this my function, right? And then my function will be called. And first of all, it will push the lemon value to this array. And then this will be exit, and all the fruits will be, fruits array will be printed. As you can see, the lemon has been printed uh, after these banana, orange, and apple. Okay, so they are giving us warning also. JavaScript provides you to directly push your values into a specified indexing. For example, if we have specified the index 6 over here, so it will directly go to, so this one is 0, 1, and 2. It will directly go to 6th index and will print the lemon, and few holes will be created. As you can see over here, they had whatever the values that we had, it is only the banana, orange, and apple, and after that we have 3 undefined. Why is it so? Plus. Okay. So as you can see that they have also printed indexing over here. See, so I have this indexing. First of all, in 0, 1, 2, we already had the values, which is banana, orange, and apple. And since I have directly specified this indexing on the 6th index of this array, so that has all directly placed the value limit to the this 6th index. And for the other values, it has specified uh, undefined. Let's go for a higher value, and we will have multiple undefined values over here. Right? Is it clear to you all? This kind of functionality is not possible in C programming, right? Here it is referring to the same uh, thing. Undefined and holds are same. Okay, Pragati? They are not different over here. For the understanding purpose, they have used the holes, but by the compiler, for the compiler, it will be the value will be undefined. So they are just also giving you how we can use uh, arrays and create arrays in the form of objects. If you will use this new keyword, that array will be an object. We have already seen this new keyword, how it creates an object for any entity. And if we want to recognize any array, like by recognizing it means what is the type of the entity, we can directly use this type of operator. And it is a property. Just a minute. Let me see if I can use it over here where the object. So I have this array which will be an object, right? So let's try to print its type. So that will print, it will print an object. Why is that so? Because we have used this new keyword over here. And if in case I have created a normal array without using any new keyword and I try to print the type of points to array. It's not changing the value, but it should. Okay, so it is working in the same way as the objects are being created. There is no type called as array in the JavaScript. That is why it was not giving any change over here also. So what I was telling you that just a minute. Okay, I have tried to create two different ways of how we can create array. First of all, I have Lakshay, you have unmuted yourself. Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am, I didn't
Okay.
unmute myself.
Okay, we have two Lakshay in our class. I was referring to Lakshay Sukhija. No problem. Okay, so I was telling you that I have tried to create the arrays in by two different methods. First of all, I have used the object by creating the array using the object, and the next one is by creating normal array. The both of the arrays are giving the type as object because there is no type called as arrays in the JavaScript. That is why it is giving us the value object only, even for the points to array which is created without using new keyword over here. Okay, so don't get confused. In JavaScript, we don't have any type called as array over here. So what is this instance of operator? The operator returns true if an object is created by a given constructor. Okay, so that will give a it will create a differentiation for us for both the arrays. So array fruits instance true. Now that will actually create a difference. Okay, we can see over here only. Okay, so we can just see it's not showing us the code for that. So basically, this instance of operator, what will it do? It will return true if an object is created by a given constructor. So it will just give you the true and false value, just like Boolean values. And okay, so that was all the array. Nested and arrays and objects. I have already told you that arrays can store nested documents, nested objects also. Over here, they have specified few objects inside the array. Even arrays can also be stored inside the array. So that is a concept called nested arrays, like nested arrays and objects. Is it clear till here? The arrays? Yes, Rocky? Okay, any other doubts apart from Divyanshu? Instance of a function? Okay. So, if you know a little bit about OOPS concept, we say that instance is used there actually. Basically, objects are called as the instance of class. So, first of all, a class is being created. Then, for that class, an object is being created. Uh, like class is like a template and then we create the objects, right? So if any function is there, if any entity is there which is the instance, so then that will give the true value. For example, if there exists any object, that will be giving you the true value only. And since JavaScript has all the objects only, so that will majorly giving you the true value. Okay, any other doubts till here? Yes, I will be discussing about projects. Don't worry about that. Harsh, I would request you to please be on the time. In this session, we have just covered the JavaScript and we were discussing that only. Okay, so let's move on to the asynchronous. I would want you all to revise all your concepts from JavaScript. And if you have any doubts, we can discuss it on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so just kind of revise your JavaScript topics when you make your projects, and then we can discuss instances of functions using new keyword. Yes, yes, Veer, you are right. Okay, so starting with JavaScript callbacks. So first of all, it is giving you a function sequence. What is the function sequence? For example, if we have it is like since for example I have called Veer and Veer has called Krishna, so it is a sequence, right? So I have not called Krishna directly, but Veer will tell Krishna that ma'am has called, basically a kind of message that he will give to Krishna. So it is just a kind of that only. So that is what function sequences, and that is where callbacks are also in the programming language that will function in the same way. Let's see an example over here. First of all, these two functions were created. Then these, first of all, my first function has been called, and it will go to this function and hello will be printed. Then my second function will be called and it will print goodbye. So these are the different function sequences. When we have multiple functions, then this function sequence plays a very important role. So in this example, that will end up displaying hello. And why is that so? Function my displayer sum. Because it is just printing the last value, but in reality, it will first go to this my first function, hello, and then it will be going to this goodbye function. And then hello and goodbye will be printed. So what is the sequence control? So this is the only sequence control. For example, over here we have these two functions, my displayer and the my calculator. First of all, it has called my calculator 55. So it will these arguments will be going to this parameters and the sum will be calculated. Then it will be the value will be reallocated to this result variable, and then this result will be printed. And let the further function call the display. So it is just a different way of how you can directly call this my calculator function, and it will display the value of the sum, which will be 10 over here. So this is just a simple way of what are the JavaScript callbacks. Basically, whenever we work with multiple functions, so how they will actually call each other and how the outputs will be printed. So that is what callbacks handle for us. So let's see this example. We have this function, my function, that will basically print the value, whatever the argument will be passed to this parameter sum. And they have first called the 55, and then my displayer function has also been called. So in this example above, my displayer is a callback function. Why is that so? Because this will actually call this my displayer and the sum will be printed. This is the last function that has been called after my calculator. As we have seen over here, the problem was that was actually just printing the last value. Why is that so? Because the last function that we have called over here is my first. So this is what callbacks are. Mainly the callbacks in the JavaScript works like these only. So the last callback, the last thing that you have changed in your project will be shown to you, right? So it is just the same thing. Whenever you have created multiple functions, all the functionalities will be covered in the sequence. First of all, it will be going to this goodbye, and then it will go to hello. So this was the last change that you have made in your project. So that is why it is giving you the hello over here. If in case you have made the last change as the my second function, so it will be printing you the goodbye over here. So that is what callbacks it is telling you also, that a callback is a function passed as an argument to another function. So over here, this one is the function that has been called inside this my calculator, and that is why it will be printing you directly 10 over here, right? So that is how callbacks are used inside the JavaScript. So they have just given you a suggestion a quick reminder to you that whenever we call a function inside the function, we just have to write my displayer and not the round braces over there. Okay. So next we have asynchronous. Any idea about asynchronous? Yes, Daniel?
Ma'am, asynchronous function are the function that executes after some delay of the task.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yes, Harijit?
Ma'am, we can use the await keyword inside a synchronous function, and it also allows all the important components to be loaded before executing a task that requires those elements.
Yes. Sequence programming is that we are trying to uh, code and we are trying to execute the code line by line. And whenever we want some delay, for example, we want our page to be reloaded once the it has rendered all the data from the database, then only I want that the data must be printed. So I there must be some delay from trying to access from my database. So to skip that delay so that all the other functionalities can work properly, I will use the asynchronous programming. So that will just allow me with a little more extra time, and whenever the database accessing or fetching will be done, it will directly perform the whatever functions I have provided after the database will be accessed. So that is where asynchronous programming helps us, right? So we use async and await as keywords whenever we want to access asynchronous programming. It executes after resolving promises. Yes. And what about promises that you all know? And the task that require some need to execute can be written with a await keyword. Yes, Daniel?
Ma'am, a promise which represents the eventual completion and the failure or the uh, success of the asynchronous operation.
Yes, after whatever. Yes, Harshita?
Yes, ma'am. Promises in JavaScript is to represent a value that may not available yet, but will be resolved at some point.
Yes, it is basically the status of whatever asynchronous function you have done, right? Eventual completion of failure. Yes. That will just tell you if the completion of failure has been done and how much time it will be. Well, not it will really give you the correct timing, but it will just tell you if it will be resolved or is the functioning has been rejected. Just the status of whatever functioning, whatever synchronous, asynchronous programming that you have done. Is it clear till here? Okay, so do one thing. I would want you, all of you, to just read these articles and you will get your concepts revised of your JavaScript. Perform these exercises that you have over here at the last of the article. You can directly, okay, don't have in this. For example, I have just went to string methods, and if I go to the last, I must have, okay, so I have this particular question. If in case I am I audible to you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I was telling you that try to do those exercises and you will be able to revise your concepts. Whatever is not understood by you or you have any doubts that you want to be a part of discussion in the session, we can do in our next class. Okay, we have a little shortage of time for this week. Okay. And yes, about the this week project, basically you will be creating a static website. Okay. I hope you all know what are static websites. You must have done that. You will be using HTML, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Yes. So you just have to create that website only. And I will provide you the PDF of this particular week by the end of this session. Yes, yes, you will be getting a PDF of all the this week project in the group. I will share you by the end of this session. And just you have to create the static website. I will also provide you a mail in which you have to submit all your mini projects. Just go to that mail, write your week one mini project, create a GitHub repository of that, and share the GitHub link in that mail and just submit that. Secondly, when we will meet on Monday, I would want a quick presentation from you all since we have many students. So everyone should get their time. So I would want you all to first a little brief about your code, what you have done, how you have implemented your JavaScript functionalities, and few if you have used any new CSS property that you want your other students, other mates to know, you can just tell about that CSS property and then you must show your website that you have created. So that will be your presentation part that will be happening in Monday or mostly by Tuesday. Okay, I was saying that first of all, just create a static website. You will be getting a brief what you have to do for this week one, a PDF for that in your groups just after the session ends. And then you will get a mail also. You will be getting the mail also in which you have to submit all your mini projects, create the mini project, go to the GitHub, create a repository for that, and you will have to share your GitHub link in the that mail. So you will write week one, the name of the project, then the GitHub link, and just submit that. Secondly, I would want you all to present your website, what you have created. For that, you just have to give a little introduction, what you have created, how you have created, what functionalities you have added in your. Is my voice not clear to you all? Yes, of course, Arijit. It is your mini project. You can enhance it the way you want. I would just want a website. Yes, yes, you can create a portfolio. You can create any e-commerce website that will be using HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, is this compulsory to make the website with the help of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? I mean, can we use the React.js?
No, this week project is for only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Next week we will be doing the React. Then you will create a React
Okay, okay.
project. Okay. Just create the website. In the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, we will not be having any class tomorrow and on Sunday. And when we will meet on Monday, I will see your websites, what you have created. And I have told you the how I will want you all to present it. First of all, a little introduction of your code, then your website. Try to do take a little less time because we have multiple students. Everyone should get their chance to present their projects. And I want everyone to present their project. That is also a main thing. About how you have to create a website, you will be getting a PDF for that and you will know how to create that. I hope it is okay, whatever I've told you regarding the project. Okay, so that is all for today. We will meet on Monday and if you have any doubts, you can stay in the session and just ask me. Otherwise, you all are allowed to leave the call now. Thank you for being in the session till the end. And good evening and have submission last date will be Tuesday. Maximum it will be Tuesday. When you will be presenting your project, so on the same day, you just submit your code to the mail also. Okay, so if you don't have any doubts, you can now leave the call.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Lakshya.
Ma'am, it's my first day today. So, ma'am, how can I get on the same page like others?
For this week, we have just covered HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and revised the concepts and just create your static website and present it on Monday. We have not covered any tough topic in this week. It was just an intro week for you all. Okay, Lakshya? Yes, the industry, that will be fine. No, you won't be paying any fee for the certificates. You must have got all the information in your mail. Anshuman, I told you that you will be getting the PDF for the week one. Whatever you have to create, it is basically a static website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Create the website in these 2 days because we won't be having any session to Saturday and Sunday. And on Monday, when we will meet, you have to present your project, just a brief introduction, brief about your code, what you have done, what new CSS properties that you have used, what functionalities you have added in JavaScript, and then you have to basically show your website. And that will be your presentation part. And after that, you just submit your code and the GitHub repository of your code in the mail that I will be sending you in the groups.
Ma'am, someone just removed me. I was when you were talking to me.
Okay, so please don't do this kind of thing. You all will be not be able to speak and will only be able to communicate via chat.
Ma'am, can you
Lakshya,
tell
do you have any
timing
doubts?
for Monday?
What?
Timing for Monday?
Timings will be same every day. 7 from 7.
Daily?
Yeah. Yes, yes. Timings won't be changed.
Also,
So
ma'am,
remaining,
will
yes,
we
yes.
get this recording? This recording, ma'am?
That I have to ask from sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Neeraj, I will ask from sir and will let you know if that will be possible. Other students, if you all don't have any doubts, you all are requested to leave the session now. Any doubts, Himanshu, Nandini, and Prasad?